very good morning once again. If you're just joining us for the first time, you are on time for the first conversation of the day. And as promised, we are going to talk about responsible gambling. And I know gambling has different people have different perceptions around the gambling, and that's why we want to demystify it today and tell you how you can gamble responsibly. And if you're an addict already, then how can you get back to where you were when you started, so that it's not detrimental to you. For this particular conversation, I am joined by an expert. This is Joash Ajuoga, who's the General Manager of 22Bet Kenya. He's also an IT expert, but he can introduce himself better. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Glad to have you with us.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me this morning.
All right, so tell us what you do.
Currently, I'm the General Manager, Country Manager, 22Bet Kenya, but coming from an IT background. Okay, my journey started way back. Actually, I didn't even start in IT. I started in accounting and finance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, then during my first week of attachment, that is when the change of career came in. Because I was posted, I think, to a company, and immediately I was at the deep end. They were doing the financial year audit, and I was given that big white book where you have to write figures here, write them everywhere, open a page, and go through, carry balances forward, and try and reconcile. And by the end of the week, I just made a decision that this is too much. It's too much. Because there was also an introduction of computers at that time. So many of my mates who were going for computer classes, I didn't. I just went straight into finance and accounting. But after the week, I visited one of my friends at the company that he was attached, and I saw what computers could actually do in terms of Lotus notes and everything. So I just pictured the whole finance accounting book into that application, and that was a decision for me. So I just moved from then.
And that's how you got into IT.
That's how I got into IT.
All right.
Yeah.
And how did you get into being the general manager for a betting company?
Again, it's a journey. I think it started when I was doing the IT, because then I specialized in software engineering. And then in my software engineering, I went much into doing business systems for organizations. So I got into management level from that point forward, now being able to now implement successfully business systems or change management. And so that journey brought me into now the gaming industry.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting. You're a great person to speak on this particular topic, because and I was telling you earlier before we went on air, when someone says gambling, it just has a bad taste for many, you know. But I want to understand what is gambling?
It's very wide. But okay, in the context of what we're looking at, let me delve on responsible gambling. Then we'll just coin out a definition out of there, but it's a very wide topic to look at. And specifically when we say responsible gambling, there's a very thin line between addiction and responsible gambling.
Yeah.
When you're in total control of your gaming habits, your betting, your stakes, that is responsible gambling. But when you cross the line to the other side, where you do not have control over time spent on these activities or time spent on other activities, the financial decisions you make, that now you turn your gaming or betting into a mainstream revenue source, now it becomes a problem at that point. Yeah. So when we talk about responsible gambling, we are making sure that we're dancing on the thin line and being above and not below that line.
Wow.
Because when you're below it, your decisions are all skewed to you placing a bet and getting that win. And this is not what we want as an industry or as a brand. We want you to do it responsibly. It just has to be a fun activity for you.
Activity.
Yeah.
But I know people who have taken it to heart. They are really, due to lack of a better word, they're really addicted. Because I know someone who before and they don't you can't even tell, or maybe I did not know how to tell that this person is actually addicted to gambling, because when you look at them, they look like they're working hard, and those Kenyans who are saying we're looking for jobs. Kenya does not have jobs, so you try and sort of gather opportunities for them, but you find that every money that they get, they put it in betting. They're always on betting, and the betting platforms, putting their money there. And that's how I discovered that they're actually not making any steps in life, because now they're into betting. And as you've said, it's a very thin line. So how does someone make sure they do not cross the borderline to get to the place of addiction? How do you just remain to bet responsibly?
Okay, as 22Bet1, what we do, we have set limits. You can set limits for yourself, or you can ask us to set limits for your stakes or your deposits, so that you don't make 10,000 today and you put the entire 10,000. Yeah. We can set your limits to 3,000 only, or to 2,000, or you can do that by yourself with the help of our beautiful, amazing app that we actually look at customer user experience to be able to now give and offer something that also helps you in this stage. Remember, we said that for this addicted person, there's a very thin line. It's, can you control your habits? If not, we have tools to help you control. Because once you spiral out of control, then now you're addicted. But if you can control your habits, your financial decisions, the amounts you want to stake, and your activities, and the time spent for this activity, then you're going responsibly. But if you spiral out of control, that you're below the line, and like you say, your friend, all the money they make, they jump into. So at that point, there's a pattern that we read using our AI tools that we have on our platform. We can read out and actually flag guys who are heading to addiction, and be able to offer help at that point. Yeah.
So are these the signs that one needs to look out for someone who's betting, and for them to know that this is getting a little bit serious, when you don't have control over your finances anymore? And what other signs are there?
Yeah, for finance is a big one, because that is the backbone of why you're going into the activity, but also time spent on the platforms, not only ours, but generally all the platforms. Your concentration span on other activities, your performance on other activities, that should tell you that now you're heading the addiction way. You're no longer going the responsible way, but it's now spiraling into a habit that you might not have control over.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, what are the steps that you help them, for someone who's already addicted or someone who's almost getting to addiction? How can they undo the addiction to get back to responsible gambling?
Yeah, number one, you can directly write to us and requesting for self-exclusion, so that we now suspend all your accounts on our platform. But the main one is you go to the Betting Control Licensing Board for self-exclusion. So this assists if you're heading the addiction way, because it keeps you off the entire industry. All available platforms that are licensed under BCLB will now suspend your accounts. And then from there, you can now seek professional help, counseling being one of them. Yeah, very important.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is an addiction like any other, because now when you talk about counseling, it's now serious.
Yeah.
How serious is it? Just for you to paint a picture, for you to seek a counselor to walk you through, what harm would it have done to you?
Well, like you say, it's just like any other addiction, that you're totally concentrated, or you put a bulk of your resources into one thing. Yeah. So from that point, you really need professional counseling, something to help you balance out. Be able to integrate with society again, because part of what we find out about with our AI tools on our platform is that most of these guys tend to show behavior that they isolate themselves, yeah, and find an escape onto gaming or gambling platforms. Yeah, so at this point we need to integrate you back with society so that you are able to integrate with others. And it comes through a lot of things, social media, peer pressure, you know, you're looking at your mates who tried out with 100 shillings and now are working with 2 million shillings.
Yeah.
And you think this is the way for me. And unfortunately you've been doing that for a long time, and now it gets to a level where you have no control over this. Yeah.
Now, how can they manage expectations? Because, as you've said, you compare to someone else who won 2 million and you also want to get to hit that jackpot, if I put it like that. So how do you control your expectation if you've put this, it didn't go through, you know, or it went through and you put in a higher amount because you want to get more and all that? So how would you encourage someone to bet, especially for someone who's just, who's looking into gambling for the first time?
Like I said, it should be a fun activity. Should be a fun activity because there are many other factors involved. Remember, we just give you odds, and then the match that you're putting your money on has to be played. And there are so many other factors. The teams that you're playing. I don't want to mention some teams because currently, yeah, they're making it look bad in the sporting industry. But yeah. Depending on the sporting activity, there are so many other factors you look at. But if you're trying to do it for the first time, like for 22Bet, what we do, we have responsible gambling messaging in every of our posts, social media activities, and or any other engagements with the community. Yeah, we try to push for responsible gambling. The ultimate decision is on the player, but we also have tools on our platform that help us identify. And technology has played a very, very big role in this. Yeah.
And that's like the AI that you're using
yes,
to get
yes,
information.
to be able to flag this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how does what role does responsible gambling play in financial health of this individual?
Okay. Remember, let's get to the point of mental health first, because for mental health, then finances, if your mental health is not stable, then when you're skewed to say that I want 90% of my finances to go here, it seems right to you. But ideally, that is where the problem is. So we really need to get our players or the punters involved to be mentally stable, so that you can make sound decisions. And these sound decisions are not only financial, but they're on a broad aspect of the day-to-day activities that we have. And then finance comes in, because finance is a major one. This enables you to be able to have money, to extra, disposable income to deposit and to stake and to, possibly win something. But when we come to that, we really look at you being in control of everything. Yeah. Because for us as a brand, it's a concern when we have somebody who's falling into addiction and we do not do anything to help, because ideally we are losing a customer. Yeah, because when they get into self-exclusion, we have no choice but to stop you from all betting activities on our platform. And I like the role that is being played by BCLB, that once you step in to the offices and say, I'd like to be excluded, everybody in the industry who has a platform that you're registered in has to suspend your account.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those are some of the measures that the body has taken to ensure that people are not affected by gambling. And there was this motion some time back in Parliament, and they were speaking on how the advertisements on betting are a bit much on the screens. And they're complaining even on media houses, radio stations, that in every, in every discussion, there's something about betting. And for them, it's too much for the young people, because many are getting into gambling and many are getting addicted in gambling. So what is your take on that, and what would you advise to happen? Because ideally, what they were saying is that whatever is put on your face every time is what you will consume and what will get to you.
Yeah, ideally, I think BCLB has done a very good job in issuing us with advertisement guidelines. So there's very, very limited advertising on out-of-home adverts, static adverts. So we are no longer doing that. You never see a billboard that says, this is from this betting firm or that betting firm on a static advert. For digital screens, we can still do that. And also, there's under the advertising guidelines, we also have some hours that we cannot be able to, reach out to our customers, during these particular hours. So we only have that after watershed hours, that is from 9 p.m. onwards, we can be able to go on screens. Yeah.
Okay, so it's from 9 p.m. onwards, not during the day.
Yeah, not during the day.
Not during the day. And what role is the government playing in regulating gambling in the country?
Yeah, through that regulatory board, BCLB. Yeah, all their efforts are channeled through this particular board. So we are happy with what they're doing right now, especially for self-exclusion and professional counseling. That's a very good one.
All right.
Yeah.
So there's something that you're doing in your company. So I'd want to know what initiatives that 22Bet introduced to support players showing signs of addiction, or are they those that you've mentioned already, the ones that when you notice that there's a particular pattern, that this person is self-excluding themselves, then you stop them?
Yeah, then we temporarily suspend. Once we are able to flag, we temporarily suspend your account, and we try to assist by offering collaborations with other counselors, because it requires professional counseling. It's not just any other kind of counseling. Yeah.
And what partnerships are there between operators, government, and mental health organizations? What partnerships between operators, government and mental health organizations can help enhance responsible gaming efforts?
Okay, one is self-exclusion. Number two, the time advertising, like I've just said, advertising guidelines. The times that we are on screen and we are able to reach our customers at a very broad band. And at this point, what we look at, the measures they've actually taken is to be able to control the kind of messaging that goes out. And the most important one is responsible gaming. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you ensure, even as we come to a close on this, how do you ensure that people because part of the messaging that's usually bet responsibly, persons under the age of 18 are not allowed to bet. So how do you ensure that someone who's under 18 is not really betting, because someone can use someone's phone and all that? They're tech savvy, this generation, they know how to get their way into things, around things. So how do you ensure, really?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Actually, 22Bet has invested heavily on AI tools that are able to identify, positively identify guys who are underage. By, like you just say, the tech savvy is somebody who might be going for holidays. You pick Guka's phone and you go and register an account. Yeah. We can immediately pick that. Okay. Because our AI tools are wide, and we have third-party companies who are providing this service to be able to confirm an identity. Yeah. Because it's a digital identity. We don't expect that at this point you are 76 years old, and when you call our customer service, you sound like you're 15.
Okay, that's a fair point. Yeah. So that's a good way to prevent and protect those that are below the age of 18, because of course they can't make the right sound decisions yet. And now we have seen that what responsible betting looks like, and it's knowing the thin line where to operate, and what addiction looks like, and now how you can move from addiction, and that's through leaving the platform completely and getting mental assistance, mental health care to get better. So would you say, and you've said that betting is usually, it should be fun. It
should be fun. It should be a fun activity.
It should be a fun activity. Yeah. So just to help someone out there who's really relying on betting, because honestly, the young people are out of jobs. Many people are looking for jobs, and they're saying there are no jobs in Kenya, and they would go into betting completely because they don't have any other source of income. So what would you say to them? How can they not get to that place of addiction because they have no other option?
I think it's just a change of mindset. Number one, because you say they don't have a main source of income, but before they get to the betting, they must have the money in their hand. So there's a source they have. So yeah, I think it's just a change of mindset. And remember, it's a fun activity. Just enjoy yourself while doing it. Don't let it become a revenue mainstream for you. That is number one. Number two, I think our major challenge as an industry is that first, betting and gambling is viewed as a vice.
Yeah.
So even for those that are affected, because looking at the numbers, we know there's much more that are affected, but being able to come out, because this is already looked at as a vice. So having to come out and seek help is one of the issues that we have. Yeah. Okay. Because we flag so many using our technology and tools, but the response we see from the other side that come for self-exclusion or come for counseling and everything does not match the numbers we flag. Yeah, because I think the change of mindset here is really, really important. Okay. Yeah.
So the society also has a role to play in this.
Yes, a big role.
So we need to stop the stigma around it and the view basically that we have of gambling, and I am one of those people. I think with this conversation now I have a different view of gambling, you know, and I was saying the term gambling itself just looks like a bad thing. You know, I'd use betting better because it's softer.
Yeah, it's a softer
gambling, you know, looks like, and I imagine the casino and all that. It's a lot different thing. But now we need to stop with that perception and look at it as a fun activity, that especially for people who enjoy gaming, right? Because for Kenyans, it's usually mostly associated with football. Lovers of football would want to get into that. So we leave it at that, and we understand when people get into addictions that we can support them out of it, right?
Yeah.
So we need that. All right. Let me allow you. Do you have any final thing that you would want to say before we close it up?
Yeah, final thing. Is it actually final, or you just opened the door for me to go?
Let's see.
Yeah. As 22bet, we're really invested in responsible gaming. We're really invested in that because we would like to take care of the people that take care of us. We would like to take care of our customers. We would like them to look at this activity as more of a fun-based activity other than something else that it brings. Of course, society and community has to really, we work very closely with the community to be able to see how we can continuously help persons who are affected by this kind of addiction. And not only that, but we also work with other community projects, developments that we as an organization look back and be able to interact with the community better. We've gone as far as building basketball courts for schools using our THX 22 Foundation, which is our CSR arm of 22bet Kenya, because the law does not allow us to do most of the activities, but we see the need for us to be able to interact with the community and be able to educate more, you know, like empower them with more knowledge, because we're building a very big knowledge base on all that we're talking about, responsible gambling, addictions, and every other pattern that is coming up because of technology. Yeah. Now, yeah, we would like to interact with the community and also be able to empower them with this knowledge, because it's just feedback that we're collecting from these tools. And that now brings us to the point where responsible gambling becomes a major item for us.
All right. Yeah. And just before I conclude, why is it, or how is the statistics between men and women? Because I know men are usually the ones who are the consumers or who are actively engaged in gambling. And why is that?
Again, that's a good perception, but it cuts across different age sets, different genders, and you know, yeah. We have. I cannot be able to disclose, but we have. Our customer base is quite
wide.
Wide, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
And has everybody in.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for coming on board and
thank you for having me,
sharing this insights with us. So that has been Mr. Joash Ajuoga, who is the general manager of 22Bet Kenya. He's also an IT expert. That's his background, and we've been talking about responsible gambling. I hope you've taken something from it, and if you're addicted, then you know how to seek for help now, and if you're just getting into it, then you know the steps that you need to take. I hope you enjoy the conversation. Talk to us at Y254 channel. The hashtag is Y in the morning. We take a short break and then we'll be right back.